We should be live according to this, guys. As always, this is Geekery according to Goons. We haven't done a live video in a while. If y'all don't see this pretty mug right here above my hand, this is Baby Huff. This is one of our constants, Krystal. Of course, I'm Brock Epson / BJ. But we're going to do a live show tomorrow, hopefully with more of us. This was kind of a spur of the moment. Let's get on here and do something kind of goofy deal. So, Krystal is big into the anime world, and all of us play the video games. Huff, he likes the wrestling. Me, as always, I'm into a little bit of everything. I'm not big into any one thing. But, anyways, what you got, Huff? We'll put you on the spot. You was talking about the AJ thing earlier. The AJ Styles.
The AJ thing. Buddy of mine sent a poster that I guess AJ made or somebody that...
Yeah, it was put out on AJ's Twitter.
Yeah, and it was pretty much hinting towards AJ Styles versus Shawn Michaels for the Royal Rumble.
Which is great because so many people have compared them.
Yeah, like they're saying AJ's of his era. He's the Shawn Michaels of his era.
And he is, because Shawn Michaels, he was the heel during the Attitude Era where you could say and do what you wanted before WWE was publicly traded. AJ can't do that, and as most people know who's wrestling fans, AJ's a Christian, so he's not going to do that.
Yeah.
But, with both of those being said,
AJ do some,
he is, but I don't know if he would now.
Yeah.
But, he's... For what it is, a publicly traded company, he is doing great. I mean, for somebody with his, I guess, reputation as far as moral standards and all, he is doing great as a heel. I mean, to even be considered as, a Shawn Michaels-like type character, that's a big, I don't know, pat on the back, I guess, to say.
He doesn't have to go out there and do vulgar stuff to make people hate him. All he's got to do is go out there and pretty much, he's clean about it.
Well, and with all due respect to Shawn Michaels, if it was if the roles was reversed, I think he could do the same thing. He was enough of a performer, he could go out and do the same thing AJ's doing, but that's not taking nothing away from AJ, because I love him. He's probably my favorite wrestler right now.
Yeah, definitely. I've got a bunch of them, man. Like, I know you don't care for him that much, but I'm a Jericho fan. Like, just because of the stuff that I've seen him do.
What burnt me on Jericho was the whole Y2J thing. I did not care for that whatsoever. That was WWE playing too much on people's fears and stuff, and I just didn't care for it.
Yeah, but that's what's got him where he's at today. But
that's just it. He's still riding the coattails of what he did years ago. But
it's still working.
It is. I'm not denying that. I mean, if it was me, I'd be doing the same thing.
Yeah.
And
I'm a big Finn Balor fan. And
yes. The night he won the title, I was happy, and the next day when I found out he was hurt, I was just like,
it's because Seth Rollins keeps doing stupid crap. Like, but I can't. That one where he got hurt, where Balor got hurt, was Balor's fault. Because if you look back at it, he should have known better, which I guess he may have felt it was going a different way than what it was going.
Yeah.
But you could see him reach back, and when he reaches back, that's when his shoulder pops out.
Well, it's like, back to AJ, who's the guy that they got on there? It's any guy with two hands can fight?
James Ellsworth.
Yeah, because he messed up, and he come out, and he actually put a statement out. He was like, for 14 years that I've been wrestling, they teach you to, tuck your chin. He said, and the Styles Clash is the one move where you don't tuck your chin. And he said, when I tuck my chin, he said, I give AJ all the credit in the world. He realized what I did, and he fixed it. He said, it looked like he killed me. He said, but in reality, he saved me. Yeah. So, in that respect, he gave AJ his due, And he also said, I screwed up, and AJ was very cool about it, so it wasn't no big deal.
Yeah. But there's a thing on YouTube right now, I think that it hasn't been on there long, not that I know of.
Well, seeing as how the thing just happened last week.
It's seven. It's seven different wrestlers that AJ, not purposely, but just from stupid idiots tucking their head in during the Styles Clash, and Roderick Strong was one of them. Which Roderick Strong just got signed to NXT. He's Bobby Roode's partner for the Dusty Rhodes thing. But like, uh, but Roderick was one of them. Crap. There's several of them that took their head, and AJ just smashed them right on their.
Well, I mean, there's a learning curve. He's probably smashed enough people in now that he's learned not to do that.
He's looking for it now. Like,
yeah, and that's a good thing. I mean, that shows that he's growing as a wrestler, and his hat's got to go. But Krystal, any news in the world of anime?
Well, I saw a confirmation yesterday that the new season of Black Butler has been confirmed. So it'll probably be out sometime next year. I believe I saw like November or September. Also, I know I mentioned it last video, but Little Witch Academia came out, or is coming out to actual series instead of just the short films.
Yeah.
So if you want to see a good, cute anime, if you're a Harry Potter fan, too, check out Little Witch Academia because it's really cute and really funny, and I'm excited to see it come out to a series. And I think there was one other thing. I saw the trailer for the next season of Voltron Legendary Defender on Netflix. So
yes.
Definitely check that out as well because it's really good.
Speaking of good shows that's coming out, I got it last night on Vudu. There's actually a Hulk / Doctor Strange cartoon that come out, and we watched it tonight. It's pretty good. But speaking of Netflix, I don't know if y'all watch it. The show The Ranch. It's basically the people from That 70s Show. And
no, but I do like Sam Elliott.
Yeah, so if you haven't checked it out, it's really good. It's got Sam Elliott in it, and just some of the stuff he says and does, and it's just great. Like one of the scenes, he comes out with almond milk, and he's like, "What is this?" And his son's like, "Almond milk," and he's like, "Show me where the tit on the almond is." And it's just, it reminds me of a lot of the way I was raised, just kind of the no holds barred, say whatever you think type stuff, and It's got Hyde from That 70s Show, Kelso, and the newest season has actually brung in Fez, which they all have different names in the show, and I would tell you, but I've had a few too many of these. But with that being said, it's a pretty good show. So, anyways, Huff, you got anything else to add?
I saw, and it might have been, I'm not sure if it's what she was just talking about, but apparently they've got a new movie coming out. It's supposed to be the stuff before Harry Potter.
Yeah, Fantastic Beasts. Yeah. It's coming out in December, I think. I know I saw the commercial today. Yeah. I'm excited to go see it when it comes out.
Oh, yeah.
It might be Thanksgiving that it comes out. November 18th.
Speaking of holidays, I know me and Krystal play it. We're trying to talk Huff into getting it. We play Overwatch. And right now they have some Halloween themed map out. And me and Krystal's been, joking around, and I'm really excited since they did that to see what they do for Thanksgiving and Christmas. It'd be cool to have a map where you're shooting a bunch of people dressed like turkeys or having to kill Santa's little elves at Christmas, whatever the case may be.
Pilgrims and Indians.
I don't think they'd throw the Indian thing in right now, but I could see the Pilgrim stuff coming in. Right now the Halloween thing is the robots busting down the door. I can see them all like carrying a turkey that explodes when it gets to the door or something. So that would actually be pretty cool.
I could see kind of like my idea was Junkrat as like a very crazy Christmas elf that like shoots presents at people that blow up.
Yeah.
Instead of like his bombs and stuff. That would be cool. And also I could see Reinhardt with a Santa skin, like some kind of like cyborg Santa. That would be cool.
Yeah, well, who's Reaper? Like I was talking about that one night, Reaper, the red-nosed reindeer or something coming out. But, I mean, it's really unlimited what they can do. And We got a bunch of good games coming out. Fallout 4 is pretty well what put this channel on the map. It ain't the only thing we got, but our top 4 videos is where stuff at is Fallout, and Skyrim's coming out. I got it pre-ordered, so people's going to find. We're going to put videos up of where stuff is at on it. I've got Titanfall 2 downloaded. Maybe Baby Huff here will come off the pocketbook at some point and get a new game to play.
I'm trying, man.
I'm really looking at getting the WWE game. I almost got it last night, but I decided on Titanfall.
I've got to get it because I want it, but before I get that, I've got this camping trip I'm going on with my dad. So
you had to take some videos of that and bring it back. I want to see Baby Huff in the fetal position in the woods, drunk, crying.
No, I'm not. See, that's one thing he said. We talked about it today, and he was like, "There ain't gonna be no crying this year." So,
well, I wasn't going to bring up the crying in past years, but you did. So,
but no, I mean, every time we've went though, something bad has happened.
Spoiler alert: Huff is he's a crying drunk.
Sometimes, not all the time.
That's it. If you ever invite him over to drink, make sure you got like one of those burp cloths over your shoulder. That way he'll catch the tears while you're patting him.
If I could flip you off right now, I would. But anyways, that's one thing that he mentioned today, and I was like, don't worry about it. I was like, because this year all I'm bringing is 1 case. I was like, I'm not going to bring 2 cases.
You remind me of my wife promising me a bunch of stuff that ain't going to happen.
Don't
save your money.
He's like, then after I said that, he's like, well, don't come crying to me when you run out of beer.
But speaking of the WWE games, one of the reasons I actually thought about getting it is because the other day, Baby Huff come over here and played the guitar a little bit. We hung out and, shot the bull a little bit. But he showed me some videos that people had made that took like some of the big WWE stars and like crossed their entrances up with like some of the females and some of the more elaborate gimmicks, I guess is the way to put it. And you had AJ Styles coming out like this and Undertaker doing this. It just that's some of the top stuff that I kind of want to get it and do. Because I can imagine you coming over here, me and you getting together and doing some of these.
Like one of the coolest things was somebody went in there, which everybody does it every year, but they made the old school, I can't remember what pay-per-view it was.
Don't forget Blue Bottle Lemonade, people.
That's it. They made the TNA pay-per-view. I can't remember which one it was.
It was either Bound for Glory or the other big one they have.
No, it was something X. Is it
Division X?
No. Is it Resurrection X or
no? It's just Resurrection. It seems like. But anyways,
they made that whole stage and it looked good, and they had the guys that went from WWE to TNA and just redid their entrances as far as like put their old TNA music with it.
Well,
and everything.
That's one thing I'll give WWE
cool.
in the game is they've done it since it's come out, since they started making it for the original Xbox. Is they don't put like the TNA logo in, but they will put 10 different things in that you can make the TNA logo yourself. Because even when it was coming out on the PlayStation 2, they called them call sites, creator wrestler sites. And you could go to and they would give you step by step on how to make everybody.
Yeah.
And I'll give WWE credit for that. They will at least put the stuff in the game, or the people that makes the games for WWE, to where you can make, Marvel characters. You can make any character you want. You can make TNA wrestlers. And they will even put movesets out that is geared towards a certain wrestler. So you can make your favorite wrestler that's not necessarily a WWE wrestler.
Yeah. And like I don't know how they do it as far as putting the old school TNA logo on there, but people know how to do that crap, and it's dead on.
It's not hard once you get to messing with it, but That'd be one thing. I know Krystal's not big into wrestling, but it'd be neat to get her on the wrestling game and let her make some Sailor Moon or some Voltron or, you know, myself, I would like a Fist of the North Star type.
That'd be cool.
Because really, I'm not big into anime, but the only anime I've ever watched was Fist of the North Star. And it was when we had the old school satellite that had to turn when you hit the button on it. And there was one satellite channel that had an anime cartoon thing on it, and Fist of the North Star was one of the ones they put in. And the first time I watched it, when he hit a guy and his head exploded, I was hooked on that cartoon.
I know an anime that you need to see then.
Yeah.
They don't do it anymore, but they used to. But I was like super big, still am. I'll watch it till this day if I can find it on YouTube or something. But I was a big Dragon Ball Z fan. And I used to make Goku. I would look it up online and figure it and get the coordinates and everything for it. And I would make Goku, Super Saiyan Goku, every time.
If everybody wants to see the biggest smile on somebody's face you've ever seen, just watch Baby Huff when these words come out of my mouth. Power Rangers.
Yes. Listen, now that you've mentioned that, the new movie's coming out in 2017, and I've got mixed feelings about it. Like
oh no, you don't. You sat over here and did everything but cry on my shoulder about how great it was.
Listen,
Black Ranger's gonna be at Yamacon in Gatlinburg.
That's gonna be cool. I'm gonna have to go.
Huff, you want to go see the Black Ranger? We'll make a road trip. I got a camper sitting right out in the front yard.
Is it the original?
Yes, Johnny Ambosh.
Yeah, well, he's one of the originals. I thought you were talking about the black guy.
In all due respect to Power Rangers, they can't bring back all the originals. Some of the originals are in jail right now for murder. I mean, one of them sunk a couple while buying a boat, and one of them stabbed his roommate with a sword. Those charges actually got dropped.
That's not original though. Like he wasn't part of the original group.
Here's my trouble with Power Rangers. Is it come about when I was about too old to watch that type of show, and then it come on up as my kids was growing, and unfortunately Barney took over with my kids. Which, if anybody can show a picture of them holding that purple dinosaur's head, I'll gladly send you some GoFundMe money. But so my age group is right in between with the Power Rangers.
But the Power Rangers, when it first came out, it wasn't supposed to be just for kids. Like it was supposed to be just a thing for everybody. And
Huff, the whole time that Green Power Ranger was fighting on that YouTube video, you had a smile that the Joker couldn't top.
I know, man, because that dude's a badass. Like, he really is.
Look at that smile. I'm telling you, if you want to see Baby Huff smile, if he ever threatens to hurt himself, just mention Power Rangers, and he'll take the rope off his neck and come down and be like, yeah!
Back to the movie. Like, I've got mixed feelings about it. Like, honestly, like I'm ecstatic about it, but at the same time, I don't really know like what's going on because they changed the whole storyline to it.
Well, that's part of the fun of it. I mean, even when the Ninja Turtles come out, the original Ninja Turtle movies, that was part of it. You knew they was going to change stuff out because it was going into the movie form, and that was part of the excitement. You didn't know what was going to happen,
Yeah.
And that's probably going to be part of it with the Power Rangers. I know I'll end up getting it. Are you waving your fingers in front of the camera?
No, I was doing something. Anyways.
You was getting a text, right?
I thought I was, but I'm
not. Oh, she's texting me. I'll be right back.
Yeah.
Krystal, what's your favorite skin out of the Overwatch that's come out so far?
Ooh, I really like the witch for Mercy's probably really. I like that one. I think it's so cool. But there's so many cool ones. The Reaper one is cool, and Reinhardt's is cool. Like his head is like on flame.
Yeah,
it's like blue flame. That's really cool. They're all really cool, but I think Mercy's
back in like 2 minutes.
Looks really awesome. I like the Mercy skin.
My whole thing, I wish with the witch what they'd have done instead of shooting her is waited till she got in a certain spot on the map and you shoot like a bucket of water. Throwback to Wizard of Oz.
Yeah, like a Wizard of Oz reference.
Yeah, but that would have been really good. But I saw something earlier in our little group chat about Sailor Moon. What was that?
I was talking about Sailor Moon Crystal. I don't know if it's completed yet. I think it was in the third season last time I checked. I think the third season is the final one, but I was discussing how it was really good, and I like the third season art better than season 1 and 2 because season 1 and 2 was mostly like CGI, and
Yeah,
to me the transformation sequences and stuff didn't look as fluid and as nice as season 3 because season 3 is hand drawn and
yeah,
it looks as nice as the original Sailor Moon did. So if you're interested and you like Sailor Moon, check out Sailor Moon Crystal because it's really really good. It's closer to the manga, like Naoko Takeuchi wanted, because in the English dub they couldn't do a lot of the stuff that she had in the manga.
yeah,
So they made it more like the manga, and it's really dark and really it's like got all this really heavy stuff in it that wasn't in the original stuff. So if you want to see like the way it was intended to be seen, then check out Sailor Moon Crystal.
yeah. That's. I wish some of these cartoon creators or anime creators would watch YouTube and stuff because, like me, I'm a little older than y'all. I like some of the old school stuff. I love the old school He-Man. But I also like the newer He-Man, the animation style that it come out with. If they would have come out with that style and just like remade the original He-Man stories, I think that franchise would have took off. But instead,
It
they
would
keep
have.
trying to reinvent it, and it ended after 2 seasons.
I like the original He-Man. I was actually talking about that today with somebody because there was a girl that had a Skeletor like sweatshirt on, and I was talking about what a cool character Skeletor was, and we were talking about like he's like if you go back and watch it, it's not as good as you remember. But I was like, but Skeletor
Oh, I
was a
still
cool
watch it.
character. You cannot deny that Skeletor was a cool character.
If I could find it up here in this massive wall of stuff I got, I actually have the full original run. But yes, the original stuff to me is great, and some of it's the inspirations, for what come later. But unfortunately,
You know,
sometimes they try too much to change it, and it ends up just not doing too well. Huff is
Back on the
smiling. He's
Sailor
got something to say.
back on the Sailor Moon stuff, and this is gonna sound really weird, but for some reason, like she was one of the first cartoons that I thought like I don't know, I had a crush on her. It was a cartoon, but
I can't say nothing, Huff. For me, it was She-Ra. So
like that's like I always thought Sailor Moon was hot, even as a kid. Before those thoughts even started going through my head, I was like, for some reason, I've got some kind of attraction to this chick.
yep. But you mentioning
I
that,
thought
brings up one good thing that we got to bring up is like you can't really see it. I guess if I bring this up, you can. With all the massive video games I got, is collectibles take off for a lot of kids that get their toys and try to keep them. Some of these Nintendo games, even just 5 years ago, I paid $2 for, and now they're running upwards of 20-30 bucks a piece. So for all you people who like to pay $60 for a game and then go to GameStop and let them give you 25 cents for it, don't do it.
I
For
got a
real.
funny story. I got a funny story to tell related to the Sailor Moon thing. Sorry to bring that back, but
Oh, that's fine. I'm
I
good with
was
whatever we got. Like I said, I've had a few
I was
lemonades
at
tonight, so I need some help
Yamacon.
here.
I was at Yamacon 2 years ago. I would burn a table for a friend of mine to earn the money to do the VIP thing,
Yeah,
and it was the year that the entire Sailor Moon cast was there. Like a lot of the original actors, like Linda Ballantine and Toby Proctor, and all those voice actors that did like original Sailor Moon. And Toby Proctor was the voice of Tuxedo Mask, and I had the biggest crush on Tuxedo Mask. Oh my god! Like when I was
I just
young,
see you standing
I
in
thought
line
he was.
shaking. Yay!
I was like, oh my god. So it's funny because I approached him, and the first thing I said that literally came out of my mouth before I could even think was, "I love you."
At least it wasn't. I want to have your babies or something.
No, but he laughed, and he was just the nicest guy. and he signed my bag for me that I had, like this bag with Luna, the black cat, and on it, and he signed it for me, and he called me Meatball Head in the voice of Tuxedo Mask, and I like lost it. I was like, oh. But yeah, that's just my funny story from YamaCon.
So you go. What's the cons you try to hit? Because you go to the cons more than like me and Baby Huff here would.
DragonCon, usually we try to do that one, but it's gotten so expensive that we can barely even afford to get a hotel now. So we haven't been in like the last 2 years. But usually if I don't do DragonCon, I do YamaCon, which is a lot cheaper. It's in Gatlinburg, which is really close to where I live. And I like it a lot. It's mostly anime, but they do some gaming.
What's the dates on that?
I think it's December 4th to the 6th every year.
Maybe we'll have to see if we can't get together, and me and Baby Huff and Sleepy and all go in on a room and see if we can't all meet up there. Yeah, it'd be neat for a change to do a show rather than on Skype.
Yeah.
You know, be me, you, and Sleepy and Huff crying in the background after too much beer.
It's really cheap. It's not very much to. I think this year the price went up on the ticket, so it's like $40 this year instead of the like $30 that it was last year. But it's really cheap. The hotel, like the conventions center, is really really nice center.
Yeah,
it's beautiful, and Gatlinburg is a beautiful like city. If you've never been, it's really really.
Oh yeah,
nice.
I've been.
Especially this time of year, and we really like it.
Actually, I'll risk making my wife mad. The funniest Gatlinburg story I have is when me and my wife, before we got married and we was dating, my grandmother asked us if we wanted to go to Gatlinburg with her, and we went over. We was like, yeah, so I'll go ahead and we've been married long enough now she can't get in trouble. She told her parents that she was going to go to Gatlinburg with me and my grandmother. Well, we get over to my grandmother's house and she just hands us a piece of paper and says, "Here's y'all's hotel room. Y'all have fun." So, my grandmother helped me escape with my girlfriend as a teenager and, go spend the weekend in Gatlinburg.
Your grandmother is awesome.
Yeah, that she was. I can't say a bad thing about Miss Inez. She was quite the different woman, but.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So one thing that I want to get your opinion on, BJ, or anybody really that's in the music, one of the biggest things that happened this year was Axl and Slash getting back together. So my thing with that,
you put a mullet on me and I'm Axl, but go ahead.
If Axl and Slash can get past their differences after all that time, I think Vinny, and I understand of what happens kind of a bigger deal than what happened with Slash and Axl.
Yeah.
But I feel like Vinnie Paul just needs to, they.
Oh, you talking about Pantera? Vinnie Paul's already buried the axe with them. The whole thing with Pantera doing the reunion now is finding somebody to take Dimebag's place.
And the only person would be Zakk Wylde.
And that's who they had talked about for a while, but it never come about. I don't know if something happened with Zakk or what the deal was.
I'm still seeing that Vinnie Paul says he'll never do another thing with Phil ever again.
Well, I don't know if I'm sure Phil has something to do with it. But I'm sure a lot of it is he was on stage when his brother got shot. And, as somebody that's lost a brother like me, I don't play video games near as much as I did. I'm not going to blame that on him, but I just, I always played them with him. Even if we was playing a single-player game, we stayed in the party chat and talked. So a lot of it probably has to do with the fact that they're going to have to get somebody to replace his brother. And that's got to strike a chord at some point, standing up on stage, playing the drums, and watching somebody else play a riff that your brother used to play. Whether it's somebody that was a good friend or not, that's got to strike a chord.
It would be hard,
And I understand that, because Vinny also said that, he said if we were ever going to have a Pantera reunion, he said it's not going to be a reunion without Dime.
Oh, yeah.
And I understand that. I understand that a lot. Trust me, I do. But for the fans' sake, freaking let Zakk do it. Put you and Phil's crap aside. and make it happen.
Yeah, but that's easier said than done sometimes. I mean, which, they, travel together for years. It may end up happening. But, each of them's got their own thing going on. And
Yeah.
with royalties, none of them's ever going to hurt for money again. Because I'm sorry,
No.
Pantera may have been big in the South and overseas. But, with that being said, they still had one of the biggest followings ever.
Yeah.
So as far as royalties, they're never going to be hurting for money. And unfortunately, in the music business nowadays, that's what brings a lot of bands back together. You can't tell me Guns N' Roses didn't get back together part of it because of the money they was going to bring in.
Yeah.
And
that's a big thing. Like I get that, but it's like Eddie Trunk said. I don't know if you know who he is or not, but Eddie Trunk.
His last name's Trump, so I'm just imagining a bad hairdo. But go ahead.
He does kind of got a bad hairdo, but they had the show on a VH1 Classic called what is it?
We just threw out VH1, but go ahead.
VH1 Classic. That's where all like the older rock stuff gets played now.
We gathered that from the classic.
I used to watch it all the time, and I can't think of the daggum name.
Behind the Music?
No, it was a talk show about metal and hard rock.
I know which one you're talking about because they would usually do a countdown of like the best drummers, the best bassists, the best guitarists.
Yes, and I can't think of the freaking name. It's making me mad.
You'll be okay.
Anyways, Eddie Trunk was one of the main guys on there, and he was saying, that he thinks that a lot of it had to do with money, of course. But with that being said, the more they're playing together now, they're probably rekindling their friendship too by doing that. And I feel like that if Vinnie Paul would just and Phil could be full of crap too. You never know. You don't know what's. But Phil swears up and down that it was an interview that he had got put out by the media in the wrong direction.
Yeah.
Because the media took what they wanted out of that interview and made it sound like Phil was talking crap about those two guys.
Well, the media does that though. I mean, look at TMZ. We're going back to wrestling right now, but when the Ultimate Warrior was alive, TMZ come up and did an interview with the Ultimate Warrior. Well, TMZ put the video out, and it made the Ultimate Warrior look like the biggest dick ever. Well, in return, the Ultimate Warrior had his people recording it. Well, he played the whole thing, and it was TMZ telling him, go into character, do this, do that, and he did it, and then they twisted it around. So with that being said, Pantera should have known that people twist stuff.
Yeah.
So.
And that's what I don't get about Vinnie Paul. Vinnie Paul's just like, when you mention Phil, he throws his fingers in the air. Like,
well, but I can see his point because where you're taking kind of Phil's side in this, I've always seen it more towards the Vinnie Paul side. Phil has a mouth on him, and he tends to run it off.
He does.
And he did a lot at the Super Joint Ritual when he was with them. He tended to run his mouth a lot about Pantera. So I can see how some bad blood would be getting brung up.
Well,
especially when, like I said earlier, Vinnie Paul's brother got shot on stage when they was with Damage Inc. So every time he hears something about Phil talking trash, that's Phil talking trash about something that had to do with his brother that's passed away.
Yeah.
So I can understand that.
But there's numerous of videos of Phil saying how much he wishes they could get back together and how he loved Dimebag. And he still says to this day that Dimebag's the greatest guitar player that he's ever...
And I don't doubt he believes that. But I guess just looking at it, I ain't going to bring up names of the channel or names of the person, but, I was partnered up with somebody that I had recently split with earlier and thought it might work out, and it didn't. And seeing how he interacts now where he'll bring my name up into something, and then when I post back on the same page about where he brung my name up and he'll delete the post. You know, I ain't saying Phil's doing that type of stuff, but I can see to where some people try to hide what they are and make other people look bad, you know.
Oh, it's well, one of the
And
latest
I'm
things
not
that
saying he
happened.
does that, but I'm just saying we don't know the whole story either. We're from the outside looking in, you know.
Yeah.
Like here
Well, one
recently,
of the
I'm not going to
latest
point fingers,
things.
but we got spammed with dislikes, you know. Ended up with 50 in one day, which is pretty well unheard of, you know. And then somebody else all of a sudden, you know, disables the dislikes on their page. I pretty well know who did it, but you know, I don't care. You know, they
Well,
gave me 50 views in one night, so thank you.
yeah, but
I I do have a comment about the music thing where I'm not familiar with the situation, but here's how I would think of it. Like, if I was in a situation where I was in a group with people and the other person did something that was, really um, disrespectful or whatever, which kind of sounds like what you're saying that guy supposedly did or whatever. But the way that if you're especially with a music and a band or whatever, and you're trying to work on stage and you're trying to play a gig and things like that, it's very hard to work with people that have put like a bitter taste in your mouth because you get like post traumatic stress disorder or you get anxiety from working with those people, and then your ability to produce a good video suffers for that because you can't really work with somebody being in that situation because every time you are in the same room with that person or you're involved in something where that person is brought up, then it can cause you to have like really bad anxiety about it and not want to do anything with that person or even talk about that person or hear their name or any of that.
Oh yeah.
So I kind of understand that maybe that might be the situation where he just can't work with them because it just brings up too much and he can't he
Well,
can't
I
deal
mean,
with it.
yeah, and you compound that by the fact that obviously, by the way the band split, him and his brother went one way, you know, and Phil and I'm sorry, what's the bassist name? Huff.
Rex.
Rex went another way. So obviously there was like an equal split there, you know. And once again, I'm looking at this from a different point because you know I've had a brother that you know has passed in the past year, and if there was somebody he couldn't stand, you know, as of right now, I probably couldn't stand him either for the simple fact that he's gone and he didn't like him, you know, and me feeling like, you know, hey, if I go and become friends with the person that he didn't like after he's gone, you know,
But I don't
I'm not
think it was
necessarily
that.
letting him down, but just, you know, I guess going against what I thought he would have. And I think that's got a lot to do with it. There's probably still some bad blood compounded by the fact that he lost somebody really close to him right in front of him. I mean, I lost mine due to a disease. He lost his due to the fact that an idiot rushed the stage and shot him. You know, so with mine, I had time to say goodbye. He didn't. You know, they went on stage one night to play and put music out and entertain people, and some idiot come on stage and took that away from him. So that's got to
Yeah.
leave a more bitter taste in his mouth, you know, that way.
But I feel like in a way, and I'm not trying to take, like I said, I'm not trying to choose sides or anything. But I feel like if they would just get in the same room and just talk about it, talk it out, maybe they would be able to understand each other's points and get past that.
Well,
And
maybe not
maybe
talk it out, maybe fight it out. I mean, there's no telling. I mean,
that too. I mean, because Phil likes to fight, obviously.
and
Like,
that's me, you know. You would be more along the lines of talking to somebody, and you've worked with me for years. You know how I am. I'm more along the lines if I got in trouble with somebody, I just let them go duke it out with them, and afterwards go have a
yeah.
beer and talk about it.
I mean, I'd fight too if I had to fight, but like maybe they should put them in a ring somewhere and let them fight.
Let them go.
But I just want to see it happen. That's my whole point of this whole conversation.
Yeah.
Is it?
Oh, I want to see
Axl
it. I
has-
would love to see Zach Wild walk out. There's never going to be a replacement for Dimebag. But if there was going to be anybody that stepped into those boots, I would love to see Pantera come out. Because one of my favorite videos to watch is Pantera live. And during part of it, before they go into the Cowboys for Hell, Zach Wilde comes out and plays with them, and it is great. I mean, one of my favorite Axl Rose videos is A Whole Lot of Rosie, and it's on YouTube if you'll look it up. It's Zach Wilde playing with Axl Rose and his band singing A Whole Lot of Rosie, and that is awesome.
One of the coolest things, though, is you can look it up. It don't really have that great a sound quality.
Yeah.
But it was Down. You know the band Down.
Yeah.
Of course. And that had Rex in it. So the only thing from the video that I'm talking about, though, that's missing is Zach comes out and plays with Down and they play Broken. The only thing missing, of course, is Vinnie Paul.
Yeah.
In my book.
It might be a few years. It might be a few years depending on the situation before they ever make any kind of amends, depending on
But it was badass though, man.
If we're going to talk about bad videos or badass videos, I'm sorry, I can't help, and I got to thank Baby Huff for this. He has introduced me to these mashups, and my two favorite ones. One of them has got to be superstitious, or sad but superstitious. Sorry, and it is Metallica and Stevie Wonder mashup. If you have not watched that, it is awesome. And the other one has got to be the Bee Gees and AC/DC.
Yeah.
And just when AC/DC starts playing and the Bee Gees hit that high note, that is a great video. And my wife, she loves what's the Ghostbusters and AC/DC mix up? Thunderbusters.
I'm not sure.
Thunderbusters is the name of it.
The one you're talking about has got that dun dun
yep.
dun dun.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Speaking of mashups, have y'all seen the Weird Al mashup with the candidate speeches thing?
Presidential candidates? I have not seen it, but I have seen like the screenshots. I do want to watch it.
Hilarious. You need to see it. I love Weird Al, but it's so funny. Y'all need to watch that.
I'll have to check it out. But yeah, so a lot of that stuff, you know, the Where Are They Now? Like they had a thing from the Nirvana baby showing him now, and that's great. You know.
Oh, I saw that.
And then one of the sadder things is actually the kid that played in the Star Wars as a young Anakin. He's got like schizophrenia now, and he's in a mental hospital somewhere.
Word.
But it's a lot of the child stars, I guess, is one reason. And the other reason is I just didn't want to get them into it. But you know, that's one reason not to get your kids into movies at a young age. I mean, I'm sure he would have ended it with that, sooner. But you know,
I don't know that I agree with that. Just because, I mean, I personally love Star Wars, and I don't have a problem.
Well, I mean, that's a mental disease. He would have ended up with it no matter what. But I do think being a child star didn't help any, because there is very few people that has grown up as a child star and went on to prosper. Will Wheaton is one of them, you know, but with the exception of him and maybe a few others, a lot of them, it has really messed them up. I mean,
it's probably because they didn't have good support or good.
Well, it's hard to have a good support when you got, you know, when you're constantly out doing stuff. I mean, look at Selena Gomez. She made the news in our area lately because she was in, I think it was Knoxville or Nashville. I'm about sure it was Knoxville because of a rehab deal. You know, and and it was because of drinking, but I think a lot of that has to do with, you know, the way she was brung up due to the fact that she was a child star.
Mm.
You know, I think Baby Huff should have been a child star. I mean, look at that pretty little face. Tell me that would have sold some Gerber baby food.
Yeah.
You didn't know I was the original. You didn't already know that I was the original Gerber baby.
Oh no, there was another one at work. I don't know if you was there when Rawls was. He was the original Gerber baby. Even as an adult, he looked like him. But with that being said, I feel like we're starting to run out of stuff. I got some stuff I want to touch on, but like I said, we're going to try to do a live show tomorrow with more of us on. So I want to save some of it for it. I just want to kind of give everybody a heads up that we are still here. You know, anybody who, you know, questions my geekiness, that, you know, there's Venture Brothers and all that stuff. So, but I kind of wanted to get on here, and, after we got spammed with the dislikes, let everybody know we are still here. We don't do a whole lot of live shows because pretty much it's the one thing that I love the most about this group of people that we got, which is me, Baby Huff, Krystal. We got Sleepy, who's not here right now, Dwayne, and then we got Glenn, who lives out in Oklahoma. He don't get on. He hadn't been on a show yet, but he still contributes and helps. We're not the type to where we don't want to get on here and you see our face all the time. We're happy with putting out a Let's Play video. We're happy with Baby Huff coming over to my house playing guitar. We don't think our face needs to be in everything as long as people's enjoying it. And like I said, that's the one thing. That's the reason I'm doing it. If I wasn't enjoying it, I'd be done. But I have a blast with this group that we're doing it with, and I feel like they have they feel the same way. Every time one of us streams, at least one or two of us hops in the stream and talks. Like the other day, Krystal was in, I think, what was the No Man's Sky video with me?
Yeah.
And somebody come in and made the comment, how can you still play this game? And I made the comment, well, if you can't stand the game, how can you stand to watch somebody play it? And then he made a comment to Krystal about how it was trash, and I said, I know, buddy, she's heard it 100 times. And he commented back, yeah, dude, I'm sure she has. And that's when I said, yeah, because she's in on every stream I do. She's heard this same thing. Even though I play No Man's Sky, I will still point out when they do something wrong, in my opinion. So, a lot of people don't realize that when they come in. They'll see Krystal comment, and they'll see Huff comment, and Sleepy, Dwayne, Glenn, whoever. And they just assume it's just another random person, and it's not, because we support each other in everything we do so far. And that's part of what's made it fun. Even our Facebook page, we have comic memes, anime memes, wrestling memes. If one of us is interested in it, at some point it's going to make its way onto the page. And it showed, because we went from, I had that page for a little while under a different name, but once we all got together, it went from 80 likes to where it's up to almost 300 in less than, 2 months? Mm-hmm. So, we're definitely growing. We got more people jumping in, and it's great, and we're all having a blast.
That shows you, though, bringing different people in and maybe throwing certain people out, what it does for certain things.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, it's just I guess this kind of falls in line with the series that me and Sleepy was doing on the how-tos part. But when you're doing something like whether it's Facebook, YouTube, or whatever, don't assume everybody is like you and wants to see the same thing you do. Yeah. And if you start taking off, don't let your head get too big. Everybody's got different likes and dislikes, but, me and Krystal actually talked about this earlier. We have a mouth on us. We can use some very colorful language, but we both try to watch it when we get on here, not because we're worried about offending people, but for me, my kids watch this. So, I don't want just a, bunch of profanities rolling out, because I don't want them seeing that. And even though I do it, I don't want them thinking it's okay. And that's one thing that I am glad we have done with, what we're doing so far, is we have kept it, I'm not going to say good for children, but we have kept it pretty well PG-13. And I enjoy that, because my kids can actually jump in and watch what we do. My kids can get on Facebook and see what we put out and interact with it. And to me, when they get excited about it, that kind of energizes me. And I know Krystal's kid is young, but I'm sure when she gets older, it'll probably be the same way.
Yeah.
So that's one thing I thoroughly enjoy, is it's kind of like it don't exclude anybody. We could get on there and probably get a bunch of likes for posting a perverted meme, but I would just assume keep it to where my kids can go to school and, tell everybody about it, and me not have to worry about what their parents are going to think. But with that being said, if you ever decide to watch our Twitch, that is extremely adult oriented. So, yeah. But we do try to keep our Facebook and the YouTube PG-13. But even with the Twitch, it's just really colorful language. We're not on there talking about, stuff we shouldn't be and all that. And as far as racial stuff, there's none of that. We don't exclude any groups like that. It's just, we do use some foul language on the Twitch because they put up with it more than what YouTube does. And it's another medium that we can use, that kids don't readily use. But with that being said, Baby Huff, you are extremely pretty today.
Something that we can get on and not necessarily saying that not necessarily saying that we're not being ourselves on YouTube, but we can be,
we ain't got to watch what we say. And that's another thing that, like I was saying earlier, is about as tight-knit as a group as we are. Baby Huff don't have Overwatch. He got in last night for like an hour and joined our party and talked to us while we was playing Overwatch, and he did nothing but watch it on Twitch and talk to us. And anybody that does any kind of streaming understands there is a delay. There is you hear it and then you see it. So just the fact that he stuck around that long, while hearing a delay and talking to us, shows you that we enjoy what we're doing. And that's one thing that I do love, as long as we enjoy it, we keep doing it. If there's something we do that we don't enjoy, we stop it immediately. It don't matter if it gets 1,000 views. If we don't enjoy it, we're not going to do it because sooner or later, who you are shines through in everything you do.
Mm-hmm.
But that's me off of my little soapbox, I guess. Oh, I got it ain't a Superman tattoo. It's an R for my brother, but there's another nerd tattoo. But we got to talk about it more, but we've also discussed doing a ugly sweater contest towards Christmas. So that's liable to get interesting there. I've had my eye on 2 or 3, and as you can tell by the Venture Brothers tattoo, I'm big on them, so whatever I end up with is probably going to be some sort of Venture Brother ugly sweater.
I'm going to find me a white sweater and just maybe throw it in the dirt and let it roll around for
No,
a while.
what you need to do is buy you a white sweater and then come over here and let me and Sleepy have a Sharpie and we'll just go to town on it. I mean, we may have to put one of these wrestling masks on you so you don't go to work all marked up on your face, with some eyebrows that look like they're scared trying to run off your face from you.
Yeah.
But,
I know how to do some Art Deco and glitter stuff. So
I'm glad you said that. Y'all talk for just a second and give me a chance to pull this out. You had mentioned earlier about doing some wood burning.
Yeah.
Whoop! Y'all can hear stuff crashing down.
Hey, I like campfires, so
Cool.
There's some, and I can't even take credit for all that. It's colored in with ink markers like you would use in a industrial setting, but all of that is wood burned in. Me and my kids did it. And then Huff has seen my desk. My brother, before he passed, had bought a special edition Batman game that come with a bunch of files on the different bad guys. And I took some Mod Podge and put them on the desk, and it's into it. But
I did the wood burning I did was the 4 dragons from, I don't know if you're familiar with this game. It's really old. Lunar Story, the 4 dragons. I did a wood burning of one on each corner of a table, and I found out after I did it that I was allergic to the sun, and I got sun poisoning for I was sick for a whole week, I think, with fever, and I had sun poisoning, and I was just not a happy camper. But that's how I found out I had allergic to the sun. So
what got me into wood burning was actually my mom, her and my stepdad when they was together. My first stepdad, I guess I should specify, since there's been a line of them. But anyways, my first stepdad, she actually did a wood burning for him, and you know how the inside doors are a little thinner than the outside? She had did a life-size thing of John Wayne on it. And I thought that was the coolest thing ever. As a kid, I could walk up to a door and look up to John Wayne on there. And that's one of the things that made me buy a wood burning kit. And, a lot of the arts and crafts stuff I do with my kids. Huff's been over to my house. He's seen this massive collection, and some of it is stuff that we have made together with the kids. But I do thoroughly enjoy doing that. Despite my big man looks, I will break out the arts and crafts from time to time. I have been known to play a video game while my daughter paints my toes pink. So, but, yeah, keep laughing, Huff. You'll have to come over here eventually. I'll hold you down, let her paint your toes. And just to go ahead and make his face turn a little redder, my daughter has the biggest crush on Huff. He is Cutie Huff. That every
Aw.
time he comes over here, she has to find an excuse to come down here. So I'm safe as of now, but when she turns 18, I'm going to have to beat him away.
The last time I was over, we heard the door crack or slam or something. You're like, "Hello?" She's like, "Hey."
Yeah, that's it. She's got her little man crush on baby Huff. But hopefully we're going to start putting out more live videos. I know me and Krystal do things where we shoot videos and put them up from time to time. On baby Huff's off days, I'm going to get him over here so we can do some reaction videos on some wrestling stuff. So we're coming out with a lot of new content. We kind of slowed down because, as bad as I hate to say it, I think we all got kind of comfortable with what we was doing, and we hadn't put out a whole bunch of live stuff. And I'm glad for it, because if we would have put it out, it would just been some kind of generic something, that we put out just to try to get views. And I would rather do stuff like this at spur of the moment, because I have more fun doing it, and I know y'all do too. So if we hit low spots from time to time, it's because we get bored with something and we got to recharge. But I've been playing the Minecraft story mode. That's been going really great. Krystal's been putting King's Quest on. And speaking of that, I actually saw Dragon's Lair is downloadable now on PS4, the original game. So that might be something I have to break out and do horribly at, because Mega Man was one of those games I was great at as a kid, and I've tried playing it here recently, and I had to put it down. I played so horrendously at it. But I'm sure Huff, what was the console when you was a child, Huff, that you played?
Nintendo 64.
That shows the age difference. Mine was the Atari, and the age difference goes from Atari to 64.
Yeah.
But what was yours, Krystal? What was the first console you remember wanting or playing a lot?
The first console I ever played on was actually my cousin's, and it was also a Nintendo 64. I never owned my own console because my grandmother was really strict and she didn't let us have stuff like that. The only other games I did play were on the PC, because I had King's Quest, all the King's Quest like CD-ROMs for the computer. So that's King's Quest.
I had those too.
I loved all the King's Quest games, and that's when I was excited when the King's Quest came out for PlayStation 4, because those were the games that I pretty much grew up on. And Sims, I like Sims too.
Once again, I'm showing my age, because the one game, and honestly, it has been for the past 3 years that I have just had the biggest hankering to play, is Oregon Trail. And not a remake of it. I'm talking the original pixelated where you had to shoot the rabbits and the deer and stuff.
I like
My dad brought home one time, and it was burnt. I guess it was burnt onto the floppy disk. But I probably shouldn't have even been allowed to play it at my age. But it was Wolfenstein.
Yes, some Wolfenstein.
I love that game, but I never could. There was some part I couldn't ever get past.
Well, that was Wolfenstein, Doom, and all of those. There was always that one level you had trouble with.
Yeah.
But, for me, Oregon Trail, and actually it's been more than 3 or 4 years. My son is coming up on 15, and when he was like 4 is when I got Oblivion for the first time. Well, I was just running through the woods, and I saw a deer run across. Well, my Oregon Trail instinct kicked in, and I shot and killed the deer. And here my son is at 3 years old crying, hollering, "You don't shoot deer." And I'm over there yelling at him, "You've never played Oregon Trail. You don't know what it's like to be starving." And my wife is just looking at me and him both arguing back and forth. I'm like, well, never mind. I guess I just need to drop this. But, to me, I guess that's where I was showing my age with it somewhat.
But, yeah, man, like Wolfenstein was probably the last game I should have been playing when he brought that home. But he didn't even really play on it that much. And then there was another game that was on CD.
Just the fact that they was on CD shows how dated I am.
It was like an original computer game, or PC game, but like I think it was called Journeyman.
There we go. Superman for the Atari. The graphics look nothing like it was on the box. The graphics look like that.
But Journeyman was a really weird game. Like, I still have it somewhere. I'll have to bring it over one day.
You'll do that.
To show you. But somehow, there's a level on there where you have to put in a code. And nobody in my family knew the code to this game. And I actually just had to keep typing buttons till I finally figured it out. And every time I got one of them, I would write it down. And I finally figured it out. Because back then, I don't think they had websites where you could be like, "What's?"
You had to get a magazine from the game maker.
Yeah, and I didn't even have that. Like I literally had to keep typing buttons until like it would make a certain noise when you had the right number.
Yeah.
And every time I got the right number, I'd write one down. And I finally got the code, and then I lost it. And then I was like, I'm screwed.
Let's see that you talking about that. I don't know if y'all remember it. The original Metal Gear game on the Nintendo. There was a slot to where, let me make sure I remember this right. 1, 2. There was 5 different lines, and I want to say there was room for 5 or 6 letters in each line. Well, there were so many different combinations on the game. Pretty much anything you typed in would pop up. And that's what I would do. I would just randomly put stuff in. And then when I got a good code, I would make sure to save it and write the code down. Because back then, that's how you had to do it. There wasn't a save the game. It was when you saved the game, they gave you a code and you typed it in the next time. And that's how I beat that game, is I would just randomly type in codes. And when I'd get a good one, I would keep it and then beat the game with it. But anybody got anything else? I feel like we're kind of running light here now.
Well, I was gonna say the one game I remember like really, really vividly, like, well, 2 really, but one of the ones that I remember really vividly when I was a kid because I was so impressed with it was Mario 64. I thought that game was so cool. Game. I remember when it came on and the music and like all the colors and just how it played, and I thought it was so interesting. My cousin owned the 64 and he had that game, and I just thought it was so cool. I was like, this is the coolest game. And I was so obsessed with Mario, and I always loved Mario. And then the other one that I really remember and that really stuck with me when I was growing up was Ocarina of Time. The first time I saw Ocarina of Time, and I was like in love with everything about that game, the art, the music, everything about it. I didn't want to do anything but explore the world of Ocarina of Time because I was just so in love with everything about it. Yeah. So those are probably my 2 most influential games.
Zelda had to be my favorite franchise because it was Nintendo. Of course, I played it. Link, just the second Nintendo game. Even though it was a side scroller, I loved it. But Super Nintendo, my favorite game was A Link to the Past, and then 64. It's got to be a tie between Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask. You know, to me, Majora's Mask, just the whole having to relive the Groundhog Day, if you will, type scenario. I love that. You could go back as many times as you needed to do things, and I thought that was wonderful.
But one of my favorites for Super Nintendo, because my cousin, actually, I think it may have been Josh's.
You gonna bring out WWE?
No, it was the Super Mario Brothers, and I've never played that game fully through. Like I've just seen bits and pieces of it, but for some reason I've always loved playing that game, no matter what level it was. I was like, cool, I'll just play whatever you got.
Yeah, as far as Super Mario with me, Super Mario 3 was got to be my favorite, and then Super Mario Sunshine. I couldn't stand that game.
Super Smash Brothers was an awesome game for the Nintendo
I'm talking about just as far as straight up Mario. Super Smash Brothers, yes, is great as just as far as, what it is as a fighting game. And I'm glad you brought that up because that brings up the new Nintendo console that's coming out. I know everybody's loving on it right now, but I'm sorry. In my opinion, all it is an overpriced handheld. And the more that comes out, the more that they're saying that's what it is. It's a handheld that you can hook up to your TV.
Yeah.
But it does have a lot more partners. I do think it's going to be better than the Wii U and all that. But I don't know. I don't see me
Did you
getting it
see
no
when
time
they're
soon.
bringing out the original Nintendo?
Yes, it's like a Nintendo Mini. You don't actually put the disc in; it comes preloaded with the games.
Yeah, I'm
wanna
gonna
get-
probably have to get that. I need to save some money. I need to get that for my mom because I think my mom would go nuts and my dad too. Like, but one of the games that my dad loved to play on PlayStation 2 was Ace Combat, the air fighter game. That was a bad game. That was awesome.
Which one did you say? Ace Combat?
Yeah, Ace Combat 2.
That's actually
See,
Ace Combat 5.
Those are great games, and Dad loved them, man. Like I remember they bought me a just for the game system. They bought me a surround sound for my game system, and I remember it was for my birthday, and we had went out and did something. Me and my mom did, and my brother. And when we got back, my dad had that thing turned up on full blast, and he was playing Ace Combat, and you could just hear like the subwoofer just doing some crazy stuff.
Yeah.
My dad loved that game.
Yeah, you bringing up your dad in video games. That one of the things I regret now that my dad has passed is John Elway Football on the original Nintendo. There was a cheat you could do where you did a certain play and your character would run fast. And I think that's when my dad stopped playing video games with me because I would constantly do that move and run around in circles on his players and watch them try to tackle me. And then I wouldn't score a touchdown for like 5 minutes. I would just run around him in circles and he'd finally just throw the controller down and say, give up.
Now that you mention that, one of our family friends, he's probably late 50s, early 60s. I think what you just mentioned was that code. They were playing some kind of game. And Tommy is the guy's name. He got so mad at my dad's best friend that he literally took the controller and threw it as hard as he could on the ground and just smashed it. That's it.
Cheat codes ruining family friendships for ages.
Yeah.
But with that being said, I do got to start wrapping this up. This has been great. This has been fun tonight. So, like I said, tomorrow we are planning on doing a live show. I'm looking at somewhere between 5 and 9 would be the best times for me. We'll get with everybody tomorrow and find out what we can do as far as that goes. Because I would love to get Sleepy in here and Dwayne in here with all of us in here. Just the dynamic of it, would be great.
I'm hoping to be done helping Scott move his stuff. Before then, but I'm not. I texted him tonight, and he was just like, "I'll let you know in the morning." And I'm like, "Great, this is gonna be an all-day thing."
Yeah, you'll be all right.
So, but I'm hoping it's done at a reasonable time, because if it's not, I'm just gonna be like, I'm gonna have to go. You're gonna have to get the rest of this by yourself. Good.
Maybe we get Sleepy to come over here and get you to meet, and we can all be in one place and do it.
That's what I'm saying. Like, that'll be cool too.
You need to run by anyways and get some more chords for your guitar. So, we got Dwayne. He's supposed to be writing this theme song, so we'll see how that goes.
I want to get with him too, man, and kind of go over some of that, and maybe we can get together and just put our minds together and make something.
Well, just come over here one day. We'll ride up to his house. I mean, he lives in the same complex Sleepy does, so we can get Sleepy over there, and maybe with all of us together, we can, get Krystal on Skype and do some kind of group singing. I don't think it'll sound like no kind of church choir or nothing, but there may be cats and dogs in the neighborhood, howling as you listen to us. But
just give me some Mucinex and some beer, and let me clear my sinuses, and I can try to sing something.
That's it. All right, Krystal, you got anything else you want to add to this?
No, I don't think so.
I think we pretty well covered it. Baby Huff, you got anything else? You cute little thing, you.
Oh,
and by the way, guys, I call him Baby Huff that's because his name when he started working with me and Sleepy. But me and Sleepy kind of feel like we raised the kid a little bit. So
But do you remember the original name before Baby Huff?
Was it Fetal Huff?
No, that was my brother.
That's right. Or what was it?
You remember Ruby?
Yes. Some of the things, once again, I'm showing my age, he's had to kind of remind me of, because like one day he come over here, he's like, you remember the first time you cussed me out? And I'm like, no, and he reminded me of the story, which we'll bring that up one day, but, yeah. I won't go into what our job was, but basically he had to come back from training, and I asked him why he was here, and he went off and was like, I'm tired of answering this question. I was like, well, I'm the training person here, so by God, you're going to answer it one more time, which I didn't put it that nicely. But, that being said, Baby Huff, you want to tell him goodbye? We'll get into these stories tomorrow. Go ahead.
Story. All right. But I guess sayonara.
That's it. Well, guys, I'm BJ. That's Krystal. That's Baby Huff, or Junior, as you might hear him referred to sometimes. But we'll see y'all tomorrow night. If I can figure out how to work this again. Oh, yeah, here we go. All right, yeah, we'll see y'all tomorrow night.